You ever wanted to have such a content library that you are set up for months? You don't have to worry about when to produce your next video, when to, come up with ideas and record, edit, and caption and schedule all that content for you. You see, there is a trick that if you don't know it, you probably should tune into this one. We're talking how to get 3 months worth of content in just a short period of time. And I'm talking just 3 hours. So 3 months, 3 hours. Let's go. Hi, if you don't know me, my name is Chris Hanna. I am the founder of All In Content, and I am based here in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. And what we do is we batch record videos with our clients, and I'm going to talk about ways that you can actually do this yourself. I'm going to give away my entire strategy, my tips, my tricks, everything that I've kind of worked through over the last number of years to really just help people. You see, I think that there is so much power in video. Video is the best way to share who you are and what you do and why you do it, and why, honestly, people haven't used it is beyond me, but there are multiple reasons why. But I want to share that with you today. I want to talk about how to make video easy. I'm putting video on the easiest mode possible. So if you're ready to boost your brand, you're ready to grow, you're ready to maybe even attract new employees who want to work with you, well, stay tuned. Continue to watch this, and you're going to get some value from it. So a lot of people struggle. They think that content creation is challenging. 65% of people think that, content is so hard that they're almost feeling overwhelmed by it. I had somebody that I was working with, and she was spending 8 hours to record one video. It took 8 hours to do a video. I got to repeat that. And I'm talking a 60-second video. What happened is that she was overthinking it, right? She was recording it, reviewing it. Oh, I don't like that. I gotta do it again. Oh, I don't like that take. Oh, I screwed up. Spending all day on a Sunday to try and release a video for Monday. We started working together. Obviously, then that changed. But imagine that being so overwhelmed that you're losing an entire day's worth of productivity. There's no reason to do that. And there's a lot of people who also are camera shy, and then they kind of don't jump in and be on video, or they just don't show up at all and they're totally inconsistent. So there are ways to stop that from happening. So the solution really is batch recording your content. I think I call it really your secret weapon. You save time, you are more consistent, and ultimately you're going to have higher quality overall. Now, for people who maybe have heard the term, or maybe you haven't heard it, I guess, before, you don't know what batch recording is. It's literally where you sit down and you record as many videos as you possibly can in whatever allotted time you give yourself. I've done this a lot. In 2024 alone, I recorded over 6,000 videos. 6,000 videos with clients and myself. And I can confidently say that no one records as much video content as I do in my area. Now, there could be other people doing more of this in other spots, but no one records as much as I do. So we batch record a lot of videos. And ultimately, that helps the companies that we work with be more efficient, strategically use their time better, and ultimately get the best, almost maximum output possible with minimal effort. So when it comes to creating content at scale to batch record enough videos to be consistent, there are 3 things that I think are so critical. The first is that you have to plan your content out. Like, identify the key topics, the key messages, the things that you want to do. If you don't have a plan going into a batch recording session, well, you're going to flounder. You're going to actually struggle, and it's not going to be effective. You have to plan. I spend a lot of time actually upfront planning, both my sessions that I do myself and that I do with clients. We're doing research to figure out what are the key themes that maybe your audience needs to hear about. What are the best topics to ultimately cover based on the season and or evergreen content that might be relevant years from now. We do a lot of research, and then we come up with topics and ideas and ultimately a game plan of how to move forward. Now, I think what's also critical when you're batch recording content is to have a dedicated space. I'll record a lot of times here in my office here for my own content, but I go to my clients' offices or homes when we do need to record, and it's a space that I always say that has to be free of distractions. You don't want to have kids running around, you don't want to have dogs barking, you don't want to have a lot of noise. But have some space that is going to make you productive, and it's going to be good for you to record in. And then when it comes to the third point, I say use scripts or bullet points. Now, I'm not a big believer in scripting content fully. I don't think that it comes across genuine. I don't think it comes across as well. I think a lot of people actually struggle with reading a script when it comes to video content. But I like to use bullet points. Have an idea of what are the key themes that you want to hit on. What are those topics? Obviously, it's important, like the high level. What are the 1, 2, maybe 3 things that you want to cover in, say, a 60-second video? Map those out and make sure that before you record, you have a good idea of where you're going to take that story or that point or that value that you're going to share. Now, a lot of people, they're shy on camera, and I get it. Right? Like some people have never been on camera before, or a camera's sitting in front of them. It's hard for them to look at the lens and talk to it. But I have to say this is you gotta sometimes face your fears head on. You gotta look past it. It's normal to feel nervous when you've not done something before. But when you batch record content, especially enough content, that I do with people, you get over that shyness pretty darn quick. In fact, I find that like the first few videos with anybody that I work with who's brand new to it, maybe they start off a little slow, but once they get it going, they get into a rhythm, things are so much better. But if you're trying to do this yourself, you're maybe not working with me, but you're trying to do it yourself. A couple things you can do. Simple one. Practice in front of the mirror. Just practice talking to yourself, right? Looking back at yourself and doing what would be a piece of content or a video. Or if you're really brave, you can record yourself doing it. Just do the work. And maybe you're not going to release them to the world, but then you can watch them back to see, do you have some weird kind of gestures that you do or tics or something like that that you may want to avoid if you're actually going to record content. But try and find a way to make it feel natural. And the third point I think that's really important is just focus on providing value. You see, when you just try and help people without the idea of getting anything in return, that's when you're going to ultimately feel better. Now, to create engaging content, there are multiple ways to, I think, just have video used and crush your business, right? There's so many different options, but I'm going to focus only on 3 here real quick. 3 different types of videos that I think are really important. And the first one being explainer videos. These are ones where you're talking about maybe your product, your service, or something that you've learned that you want to share with your audience. These are the most common type of videos that are out there, kind of talking head style videos. The second one that you definitely need to make sure that you are leveraging, and if you could find a way to batch create them would be beneficial for you, are testimonial videos. What if you talk to your customers about their experience working with you, right? What's it like to work with you? And would they recommend you to somebody else? And you put that on camera. That's some gold, right? That is opportunity for you to have your customers potentially sell for you. So I do this with everybody that I do a batch creation session with. I will record all their content, and then at the end, they say, I got one more video request if that's okay. This one's for me. What was it like working with All In Content, and would you recommend me to somebody else? And then I put them on camera, and then I share that on social media. I put that on my website. I ask them to do a Google review as well. But that social proof is important. The other thing I will also make sure that I advocate for everybody to do is behind the scenes clips. People want to know what's it like to maybe do what you do, right? If you are a real estate agent, what's behind the scenes? What goes into actually selling someone's home or to helping someone buy a home? What are ways that you help people maybe through the offer process or give them advice on how to maybe invest in their home, in maybe some renovations of some sort? Like show behind the scenes. For me, I will quite honestly show behind the scenes often. Hey, this is the new camera I've got. This is how it works. Or this is me on this particular shoot that's brand new for me. Show behind the scenes whenever possible. Now, as we talked about, having a plan is important. And so I call this having a content calendar. But like a content calendar really needs to encompass a couple things. It's going to help you be more planned out when you're batch recording content. The first, identifying those key themes. Like what do you want your customers to know? What are the core areas that your content for a batch session is really going to focus on? Then as part of that content calendar, like what are those dates that you're going to record, and maybe what are the dates you're actually probably going to share that content as well? What does that look like? And then where are you going to distribute them? What is part of your plan? Are these going on Facebook? Are they going on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube? You see, depending on where they're going, you might shoot these videos a different way, and you might edit these videos a different way too. So there's a lot of factors that go into it, and that's where I think having a plan is important. Now, if you really want to take it to the next level, when you're doing any sort of videos, you want to start to measure success. Now, there are different engagement metrics that you can track, right? Like you heard things like engagement rates and conversion rates and reach and impressions. Some people just want to focus on the number of likes that they get and maybe shares and comments. Whatever it is that you want to use to gauge whether your videos are performing well is up to you. I personally focus more so on what's the actual impact. It's more qualitative than quantitative that I focus on for my business, because I look at videos not as something that's going to instantly convert business for me. I look at videos as something that's going to generate awareness for me. And that the videos themselves, if people start to make note of like, hey, I've seen your video content before, or they start to book calls with me, their conversions are not conversions to like buying the product right away, but booking meetings, then I can say, hey, my content's working. That's what I look for. But it's up to you. You got to analyze your data and whatever data that is for your business accordingly to figure out if it's working or not. And if it's not, don't give up on it, because that's a rookie mistake. And trust me, people who give up on it do themselves a major disservice. You got to find ways to pivot and try another tactic that's related still to video. There's also some mistakes that I see a lot of people make when it comes to their batch creation efforts. And one is they don't plan enough content. I've had people say, oh, I'm going to come up with all the ideas. And I will always have my own, of course, but they will not plan enough. They might come up with 5 to 10 ideas. And then they're like, oh, what do I do next? I don't know how to, batch record more. And it's like, well, come up with more than enough ideas so that you can do 1 session, 2 sessions, 3 sessions, just so you can get ahead. There's 365 days in the year. I'm not saying you need to do 365 videos, but could you do a few a week? Well, that means you probably need to do at least 200 videos during the course of the year. Don't do this mistake either, and that's skip the editing process. And I'm going to come at it from one angle. Captions. 85% of people watch videos with the sound off, which means if you do not have captions on, there is a great chance that people are going to skip past your video. I will 100% skip past your video. So make sure that you have captions on. Don't miss that as part of the editing process. And lastly, if you want to avoid really making a painful mistake, don't just focus on selling. Your videos should not be about how can you maximize the revenue that somebody has, right? It should be about providing value. Lead with value first. Still, sure, like have a call to action, ask people to do something next, but don't have every post be about selling, because that turns people off. Now, I know this is a weird transition to kind of go to, but we do got to talk about a bit of a special offer that I have for you. Because if you made it this far into the webinar, I'm offering something that I never offer. And it is something that, honestly, I was a little bit resistant to doing so. But then as I thought about it, I thought, you know what? Let's reward those people who really, truly go all in with us. And that is a bit of a bonus. This bonus is obviously like we can go through and we can have a consultation with you, right? We will help you design your strategy, and that's all free. And I do that for everybody. The bonus here is I'm going to give you a discount on a half-day session. Your first recording with us, you're going to get 10% off. If you made it this far in the webinar, if you've watched this, you get 10% off your next batch session. So our current price is $2,000, which might sound like a lot, but I'll explain why. It's $2,000 for a half-day session. You're going to get 10% off. That's $200 off. So imagine this. And this is why people are always asking me, like, why is it $2,000? I come up with ideas. I'm coming up with enough ideas for potentially 3 months worth of video content for you. That takes time. Then I'm recording all of that. I'm lugging all my camera gear and equipment to you, and I'm recording that content. And then what we do is we record it. We then have to edit it. And that editing process includes backing everything up so we don't lose that footage, reviewing everything, taking the audio and cleaning that up, editing it, some transitions, some sound effects, putting captions on, thumbnailing it, and then turning it back to you within a couple of weeks. It's a lot of work. People don't realize it. Like I've had people say like, oh, this video should only take a couple of minutes to do. It's a couple of minutes maybe to record, but it's a lot more to edit. I always say it's about 4 to 5 times the amount of time to edit, depending on the complexity. If it's super complex and there's lots to it, it's going to take more. So it does cost money to obviously do a batch recording session, especially with us and the quality that we offer and deliver, but the quality is worth it and it's a game changer, and it's way actually cheaper than you struggling to do it yourself. So here's a little bit more of what we covered. If you are wanting to have enough content to set yourself up for months, you got to batch record it. Again, record enough content in one day so that you have months of it. Then you got to make sure that it's engaging content. And there's some key things that you need to remember, like have a plan, make sure that your content is relevant, that you actually hook people in, have some of the right basic editing even done, like captions need to be applied across the board. That is vital, that is important. And then make sure you're monitoring it, right? How do you need to tweak your strategy and approach for next time? Not every video is going to land. It's not going to hit. Some will, some won't. But you got to figure out, okay, what do you need to do next time? You're continually learning when you're doing video. So that's it for me. I want to say thank you for watching. I appreciate you taking the time. And if you, again, are looking to book that consultation or you want to take advantage of the special offer that's only available from this webinar, again, you're not going to find that written anywhere, then there's a QR link here. Use the QR link, book time with me, and let's go all in together. Let's go all in on making sure that you not just kind of show up, but you stand out online. Let's go all in together.